Namaskar. Today is Ganesh Chaturthi. Many of you who are not very conversant with the traditions of India and especially the practitioners of the religion which is called Hinduism might not be totally aware of this, but most of you who know about this, who know about this culture, know about the existence of a particular deity or a god who's very, very charming and who's very different because he sports this trunk of an elephant. The elephant trunk deity or the god is called Ganesh in India. That's his claim to fame or the main characteristic. Of course, he's like an elephant. He's a plump god, not like many of the other gods who are depicted in a perfect kind of a trim physique. Here is a god who's kind of different, and he's called Ganesh. Today, in today's satsang, we are going to talk about the significance of Ganesh in this culture and why exactly did the rishis and the munis are like the thought leaders of society of a certain era. Of course, nowadays the term that is used is much more often called thought leaders or netas or scientists or experts. These are the terms, but really at one point of time the terminology used was rishis or munis. Now these were practitioners. Rishis, munis were really practitioners or experts who were practicing and thinking and really going deep into any subject, and then coming up with ways and coming up with theories and coming up with practice methodologies for society and for mankind to keep moving forward. So the rishis and munis must have at some point of time decided that let's introduce this concept of Ganesha into the entire culture. Now, of course, when it was introduced, it got introduced through an inspiration which is assumed to be Sanatan. Sanatan means eternal. So they were trying to actually hold something which is eternal. So the concept itself was eternal. But the depiction of this concept, the manifestation of this concept as Ganesh or as a manifested reality must have happened at some particular time. When it happened, why did it happen is very important to understand, and that's the question we will explore. And what's the significance of that incident or of that introduction into the culture of this concept of Ganesh into this culture? What was the significance and what is its significance with the sadhana paddhati or the path of practice that we are into, this Karma Yoga for 21st century Fit for Life program that we are talking about, where all of you I'm assuming, providing a lot of commitment and your time and your life. While you are doing that, it is very important to understand what is its significance with things like Ganapati. Gan means public. Gan stands for public. Our national anthem has Jana Gana Mana Adhinayak. Jana Gana means public. Pati is leader, master. So Ganapati, Ganesh is also called Ganapati. So he's the master, that who the public feels is the master. It's not one person, because many of the deities and the gods and goddesses, especially in the Hindu culture, because it was very tolerant, very tolerant in the sense it was very diverse, tolerant towards diversity. So different individuals, different sects, different tribes would be praying or would be worshipping different deities, different devi, devata, as they were called. So the deities are called, or the gods are kind of manifested imagery, or idols of gods are seen through these different deities. So while some deity stands for, like Saraswati, stands for Vidya or knowledge, Gyan, Pragya, wisdom. So similarly, Lakshmi stands for prosperity. So similarly, Ganapati or Ganesh, Ish means Ishwar. Ishwar means God. So public God. So Ganesh was kind of assumed as the god for every sect. Everyone would get something from him. So, what is it that, and each of these gods and goddesses or idols or manifestations of the supreme power was kind of designed to denote a particular aspect of that supremeness that you could absorb within you, or you could seek. So Ganesh was assumed to be the provider or the deliverer of success, of Siddhi. He is called Siddhi Data Ganesh. Data means donator, someone who gives, someone who has the power to give is Data. So Siddhi is success giver Ganesh. So while in a culture, in cultures now, modernity especially, seems to be so much in worship of all that is successful. We are worshippers. If modernity has to be kind of classified as in, or the modern culture universally has to be classified in one baseline or one tagline, it can be tagged as the worshippers of success. So in that sense, if we try to understand where all this is coming from, this is really a very modern concept in that sense. Although this has originated, thousands and thousands and thousands of years back. Leave around history, but believers would like to believe and would like you to believe that this is really eternal, as in Anadi Anant. It started before the start of time, the concept itself. And that's true, the concept started. Of course, it must have manifested at certain point of time as the idol of Ganesh. But the zeal to succeed, the need to succeed, the aspiration to succeed, that must have been eternal. That is what has brought us from time immemorial to this point. So Ganesh is really the god of success in that sense. Well, success is also seen, Siddhi, the word Siddhi is slightly different from the word in Indian languages called Safal. Safal really means success, whereas Siddhi kind of means enlightenment. Now, how is success and enlightenment related? Well, generally we would want to, at Karma Yoga for 21st century especially, we like to believe that they are kind of interchangeable, these two words, success and enlightenment. When you are enlightened, then and only then you can be successful. In that sense, success and enlightenment are kind of connected. Well, you are in a dark room, there is a rope which is lying. This is the most traditional common example that is used. There is a dark rope and you are groping in the darkness. You touch the rope, you think it's a snake. So you are unsuccessful in even deciphering, in understanding what it is. Then you flip on the light, this light comes on, and you see, oh, it's a rope, it's not snake. And you are successful in dealing with that rope. Otherwise, you were unsuccessful in dealing with that rope. You were not successful. So that kind of an enlightenment which gives you realization is what is called enlightenment or Siddhi. Now that is connected with success, as we can see. You can now successfully handle that rope. Similarly, when you have realized who you are, you are well introduced with your own self, with every dimension, every aspect of your own self, then it is said that you are self-realized. And self-realized is kind of connected with this word called enlightenment in English. And that sense of enlightenment is what is also carried through in the word Siddhi. And that is how Siddhi is a special type of success, a special type of Safalata or success. Now, let's just draw it in a little bit more and connect it with the Karma Yoga for 21st century's sadhana paddhati. We call this a sadhana paddhati, or a path for continuing your daily routine practices, which can help you become more integrated with the good, the true, and the beautiful, the Satmangal Mein Sundar. So, this is really this our Karma Yoga for 21st Century's Fit for Life program is really a practice path for your what we call the operating system. Not so, irrespective of what you're trying to do, this will help. But we must understand this concept of siddhi or enlightenment through also by taking specific examples of what is not the operating system. So take the example of, let's say, playing the drums. Or playing the guitar, or being or singing a song, or doing computer programming, or being a mathematician, or just being a good mother, or a good husband, or a good wife, or a good child, a good parent, or just being a great president or a prime minister of a country, being a great officer of a certain position. No matter which role you are performing at any point of time, or which role you are performing most of the time, or the role in which you have done your sadhana, you have done your practice, your deep committed practice, and you have gained qualification, you have gained the qualification means quality. Now you have that quality means automatically you will be able to express that work, that karma. That is quality. That means you have that qualification. So that having that qualification is what is called siddhi. Siddhi. So qualification provider is Ganesh. Who is Ganesh? He is the qualification provider. When you come out from the university, you are qualified now. You are qualified to go, and you said you are a graduate or you are a postgraduate. You are a doctor. You are an engineer. You are an accountant, you are a CPA, or so, you keep moving up the ladder, you join your job, you are now a senior manager, now you get promoted to the CEO, now you are qualified to run the company. So that qualification is the siddhi, is the success, so attaining the qualification is what is known as siddhi. And who is going to give you this qualification? Siddhi Data, the donator of the siddhi is Ganesh. Now, why Ganesh? Why not you? Well, you are the one who's toiling, who's doing the sadhana, because gaining that qualification is considered to be an accident. Accident not in the other sense as something that befalls you. No. Accident has, as we know, two meanings. It means something which has a bad connotation, negative connotation, where there's a traffic accident or a road accident or an industrial accident. That's different from accident, which cannot be predicted, which cannot be said clearly that this date, this time, this is going to happen. It happens by accident. Similarly, when you are doing sadhana, engaged in sadhana of any kind, when you will get the siddhi or the qualification, when you will become an expert, whether you will become an expert in that aspect cannot be predicted. It's an accident. Well, you are practicing playing the drum. When you will be able to play the drum exactly like Shivamani is very difficult to predict. Whether you will be or not is difficult to predict. You're playing the tabla. When you will be playing the tabla like Zakir Hussain does is difficult to predict. It's impossible to predict. Whether you will play it like that or not is impossible to predict. When you start the sadhana, you cannot predict. So, but you have to remain in the sadhana. You cannot log out. If you log out, you have failed. So you have to surrender. So something that is beyond you, because it's an accident. You cannot predict it. But you have to do the sadhana. But you cannot predict the result, the success, getting the qualification. So whether you will pass or fail, that doesn't depend on you and you alone. So that other on which it depends, in order to surrender yourself to that force, you create Ganesh. You can worship Ganesh through that particular idol shape of the elephant trunk and the plumpish idol, or whatever you want to believe in, anything that you believe that will give you success in any sadhana that you're doing, which is beyond you, to which you can surrender, is Ganesh. And that is the importance of understanding Ganesh Chaturthi. Today is a day when we celebrate, just like we have Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day. Today is the day when we celebrate that force to which we surrender when we are in the process of doing our sadhana. Because sadhana itself will make us accident prone, but there is no saying when that accident will happen. And hence, we need to surrender ourselves to an external force. That force is Ganesh. That's all for today, folks. Hope you will be able to utilize this wisdom in as part of your sadhana. Take it easy and take care. Namaskar.